Everybody can find their seats. We're going to get started in a few minutes. If everybody can find their way to their table, we'll get started in just a few minutes. Once again, if you can find your seats, find your table, we're going to try to start on time. We got a lot to get through tonight, so we got to keep this train on the rails. right, we're going to get started in about 3 minutes. The athletes are just getting some pictures taken, and then as soon as that's done, they'll be led in for the athlete parade, and then we'll get this party started. All right, if I can have your attention, please. If I can have your attention. I figured athletes would respond to that better than just asking for your attention. So we are going to get the program started with what we call our parade of inductees, led in by a bagpiper. These are inductees that are being inducted as individuals, as team members, and as contributors. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your class of 2022 inductees.
okay to stand, folks. Once the inductees have all reached into the room, they're going to take their seats, and then we will move on to the next piece of the program. Ladies and gentlemen, as a side note, the piper tonight, Brian Hoey, is the pipe major from the Somerset County Police Pipes and Drums. I had the privilege with Brian to start the Somerset County Police Pipes and Drums over 26 years ago. We celebrate our Irish heritage, Scottish heritage, and unfortunately sometimes the honor of those who have fallen. So Brian, thank you again for being here for us. Okay, folks, if I can get your attention, please. Folks, can I get your attention, please? Okay. My name is Dick Myers, and I am the president of the Bridgewater-Raritan High School Athletic Hall of Fame. This was a task I took on 4-something years ago, and I promised our outgoing AD, John Maggio, we'd have this done in 1 year. Well, unfortunately, a little something called COVID delayed us. But we got here, and tonight the class of 2022 is our second class going in with, again, a very, very tough class to choose. When we get these nominees, I tell you that we drool over who goes in, and it's a great conversation amongst the people that know the history, except for Carl. He knows everybody. Carl got more stuff in his garage than anybody I have ever known. I'd like to acknowledge some of the people here tonight, and one of the people from our committee, a gentleman by the name of Bruce Dorley, who could not be here tonight. Bruce, unfortunately, suffered a stroke during the summertime, and Bruce did a lot of the research that you see here tonight up on these slides. So, Bruce, I know you're probably watching at home as it's being live streamed. Thank you, Bruce, for all you've done. And please, if you would, round of applause for Bruce. I'd like to acknowledge our committee members. My man to my right, my audio-visual man, the people that make up all the plaques and your awards that you'll receive tonight, Mr. Jim Gano. When I call your name, committee members, please stand. Mike Winchuk, Jeff Vanderbeek, Carl Wagner, Bob Bryant, Ed Minetti, Mike Lita, John Maggio, Andy Martin, and our two newest members, Tyson Murdoch and Jack Kritsak. And an original member of our committee who still goes out and gets sponsors for the program, Mr. Tim Ortelli. All right, folks, if you would please stand. I ask you to take a moment of silence here to acknowledge and remember your teammates, your classmates, friends, teachers, anybody who graced the halls of the original Bridgewater, the East and West, and today's Bridgewater. It's okay if you want to wipe the corner of your eyes. Usually I leave a couple people off of our committee every year so I can come back around to that, because I like to make a little bit of a joke. I'd like to thank Chuck Appel, because Chuck, every time we go to put tables together, it's Chuck's mission to put the tables together. And he's got to deal with Andy Martin coming over all the time saying, hey, that guy should be there, that guy should be there, and everything. So Andy, Chuck, you guys are, Chuck, the effort you give us putting that table together, and Andy driving us nuts, we couldn't do it without you, pal. All right? Now, please remain standing as Joe Ferrara gives our invocation.
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come tonight with full gratitude for the opportunity to thank you. We are here tonight to honor these great champions who, through your heavenly grace, have been able to accomplish so much in their lives. We are all champions in your eyes, dear Lord, but tonight we dedicate this evening to these special men and women, and we ask that you bestow your mercy on them for their unselfish works and accomplishments. Keep them in your loving care. Teach us to inspire others to do their best in all their lives' journeys. Father, we ask that you remember all those who have gone to your heavenly home, and may they reap the rewards you have promised. We ask you to bless and keep safe our courageous men and women serving our country. They too are great champions who protect our freedoms and way of life. Lord, bless this food which we are about to partake tonight. May it not only be food for our bodies, but a spiritual nourishment for our souls. And through all this that we have gone through, with your love and heavenly help, we will continue to be strong and enduring through it all. We are those soaring golden falcons and the always ready Minutemen to do the things that need to be done Amen.
You may take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, I will now turn the program over to Mr. Jim Gano, the voice of Bridgewater Athletics, for this past year celebrating his 40th year in announcing play-by-play football games and basketball games and everything else Bridgewater. Mr. Jim Gano.
Before we get started tonight, I've seen some familiar faces in the room, so I'm going to ask all of last year's inductees to please stand up and be recognized. We also have Gwen Gano over here, my mom, who can't stand up, but was inducted as well last year. I also want to make mention, we had a little special something happen tonight that was totally unscripted and unplanned. Where is Tom Arnold? Where is he? Raise your hand or scream or something. Anyway, Tom sat down at that piano tonight and was playing music as you came in. We didn't ask him to do it. He just did it, and it was beautiful. And Tom, we thank you for that contribution to tonight's program. All right, so let's get this party started. So for some of the older people in the room, I want to welcome you to the beautiful Watchung View Inn. Seriously though, welcome to the Bridgewater Manor for tonight's Bridgewater-Raritan High School Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. As Dick mentioned, my name is Jim Gano. I'm going to be your MC for the evening. Rudyard Kipling once wrote that east is east and west is west, and never the twain shall meet. Well, we're about to prove him wrong. A gentleman at this table over here just said, "Who was Rudyard Kipling?" That's when you know you're at an athletic banquet. In the late 60s and early 70s here in Bridgewater-Raritan, there was another saying, and it went, east is east and west is west, and everybody knows that, and you would fill in the blank with what your favorite school was, depending on where you lived, where you went to school. Now, if you were at last year's induction ceremony, you saw that I was struggling physically. I had 2 broken vertebrae in my back, which later became 5, and this was caused by a form of blood cancer. As I met with my doctors, I kept telling them one thing, 10, 22, 22. They asked me, well, what does that mean? I said, that's the date you have to get me better by. So that I could be here tonight. And through 16 chemo treatments, a stem cell transplant, I just kept telling them 10, 22, 2. That was my goal. I had to be here tonight. But as the doctors and nurses and even my wife cautioned me not to get my hopes up, I knew I had to be here. But why? Well, I wanted to see coaches get inducted that I either played for or had in class or admired for their successes, like Carl Wigner, Mike Lita, Bob Burnaby, Patricia Shirego, and Bob Morris. I also had to be here to see my friend Rich Martin be inducted, albeit posthumously. I wanted to see the guy who kept more of our athletes on the playing field than on the training table get inducted, and of course I'm talking about Jack Kripsack. I heard the stories, but wanted to see 2 of the original marquee athletes at BRHS, in Henry Chick Galpin and Don Valario, get inducted. I wanted to see some of the teams that I either rooted for or announced their games, like the 70 and 71 East football teams, or the 1989-90 West girls basketball team, or the 73-74 East gymnastics team, or the 2nd and 3rd teams in that magical back-to-back-to-back state championship run of West boys basketball from 1988 to 1989. I wanted to see what great soccer players look like, so I had to be here to see Gabe Troopy and Jeanette Gepford get inducted. I wanted to see the first female basketball player to score 1,000 points for High School West, Joanne Warbitz, get her due recognition. I wanted to see the man, the myth, the legend enter the Hall of Fame, and of course I'm speaking about wrestler Jeff Mace. I had to be here to see Jeff Hines get inducted because, like so many of his opponents, I'm used to seeing Jeff from the back, as he was always so far out in front of the competition. So I wanted to see what Jeff actually looked like from the front. I wanted to see if Lisa Adams really does fly through the air with the greatest of ease as one of our top gymnasts and high jumper and long jumpers. My lifelong friend Linda Mueller is getting inducted tonight. Linda was perhaps the best gymnast to ever come out of high school west, and it's my hope that when she is called up, she will do one of her patented cartwheel round-off back handsprings. Just remember to stick the landing, Linda. I had to be here to see if swimmer James Norgalis actually had gills, because no human could accomplish what James did in the pool without some form of aquatic advantage. Ron Fulop was another person that I wanted to meet, and to steal a quote from this summer's blockbuster movie Top Gun Maverick, his exploits are legendary. Just ask him, he'll tell you. Speaking of legendary exploits, I had to be here to witness two guys I consider to be legends in BR athletic history. The first is a guy I've come to consider as a friend, working with him on the Hall of Fame committee, and Jeff Vanderbeek from High School East. The second is a guy I rooted for like crazy when I was a kid. If my friends and I were playing football in the backyard, after our teams were chosen, one kid would say, "I'm Joe Namath." Another one might say, "I'm Johnny Unitas." And when it came to my turn, I would simply say, "I'm Gary Debs." They had no idea who I was talking about because we lived on the west side of town. But I wanted to be like number 88 from East, Gary Debs, so I had to be here tonight to get him inducted into our Hall of Fame. You're going to hear all of their stories tonight as we induct them. No matter who you came to see get inducted, this is a special night, so sit back and relax as we get ready to induct the class of 2022. Now, as I said earlier, my goal was always 10/22/22, but there is another date that has special meaning to me, and that's September 29th. Excuse me. That's when I found out I was in remission and would be here tonight. Our first inductee tonight is Mr. Carl Wigner. Carl Wigner began teaching at Bridgewater-Raritan High School West in 1966. During his tenure there, in addition to teaching phys ed, health, and driver's ed, Carl was also an assistant. What is going on with that thing? I'll fix this later. But anyway, Carl was an assistant football and basketball coach and head track coach. In 1978, Carl assumed the duties of athletic director, a position that he would hold through the merger of the East and West High Schools until his retirement in 1999. Carl Wigner has been very active in the Skyland Conference and has served as the president of that organization. He has overseen the introduction of several varsity sports, including girls and boys lacrosse and boys volleyball. Throughout his career, Carl served on several committees at the state and local level and has received numerous awards for his efforts. Carl was previously named Athletic Director of the Year and was inducted into New Jersey Coaches Hall of Fame. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Carl Wigner.
And they told me I have 90 seconds. I could be up here for 90 hours. But we'll keep it brief because we have a lot of great athletes and coaches here tonight, and they will do the same thing that I'm going to do to get started. I do want to congratulate Dick and Jim for their efforts of making this happen tonight and last year and forever and ever. But congratulations, and we really thank them for their efforts to put this together. It's not easy putting a Hall of Fame when you have from 1958 until the year 2020 right now of the number of athletes that could be inducted. But number one, I'd like to congratulate all those who are being inducted tonight, individuals and the team, and all the coaches and athletes that are here to support us, and friends and family to be here to see us get inducted. I do want to thank my family who has put up I have my son Gary, my daughter Kimberly, my other son lives in Houston, Texas, and I want to thank them. And of course, my wife, I wouldn't be standing here if she wasn't behind me. don't think I have any time left, so. Congratulations, the class of 2020. Thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Dr. Jack Kripsack. Jack Kripsack was a member of the BRHS East Minutemen basketball team during the 76 and 78 seasons. He coached and played in the first ever boys lacrosse club. That was also in 1978 and is credited with laying the foundation for lacrosse as a varsity sport in Bridgewater-Raritan. Dr. Kripsack also served as the team physician for BRHS from 1999 to 2019 and as the chief medical inspector for the school district during that same period. Jack was the recipient of the Leonard and Adele Blomberg Award in 2001. He also received the Skyland Athletic Conference Service Award in 2007, and in 2018 he received the NJSIAA Service Award. In 2019 he was awarded the Dr. Hosea Award as Team Physician of the Year. Dr. Kripsack is also the co-author of the NJSIAA Position Statement on Opioid Education for Student Athletes and Parents. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Dr. Jack Kripsack.
Sure. I have to get my spectacles on. I know, I'm on the clock, I gotta go. All right, here we go. I am truly honored to be here today with some of the legends of Bridgewater-Raritan High School athletics who are being inducted into the Hall of Fame. This is a very special day for me and my family. I would like to thank those individuals who nominated me for this award and to the Hall of Fame committee for voting to induct me into this prestigious group. I would like to thank God for blessing me with a wonderful life. I give thanks to my parents for being a great influence on my life. I wish they were here today. I am thankful for having a loving and understanding wife, Stacy, for tolerating me never being home on Friday nights in the fall. She once asked me if I ever read anything other than college football or sports medicine, and I responded, why would I? I thank my daughters Laurel, Whitney, and Courtney for also being understanding of my time away from home for my career and for tolerating me, always insisting that they bring the lacrosse sticks on all our family vacations. Thank you to my sister Carol and my brother-in-law Dr. John Scancarola for convincing my mother to let me leave private school to attend Bridgewater East. Thank you to Coach Spencer Willard, my first lacrosse coach at Rutgers Prep. Thanks to Coach Bob Pence for giving my very first lacrosse stick. Big thanks to Coach Rick Sells for taking on the task of being my faculty advisor in high school and guiding me through the process of starting a lacrosse club. There's not enough time to tell you all the stories about that. Many thanks to departed Coach Bill Madara, my athletic director at East, for allowing me access and guidance to run our lacrosse team. He was a great friend and great mentor. Big thanks to Chuck Appel, an All-American lacrosse player from Rutgers who drops out of the sky at my school and is willing to help me coach a few days a week. He then goes and takes the job in our district, and well, the rest is history. Thanks to my high school basketball coaches, Joe Panzarella, John Garrett, and Jim Norton for being great coaches and mentors. Thanks to Coach Norton, Coach Wagner, and Coach Maggio for all their support as athletic directors for my tenure as school and team physician. Thank you to everyone that's been there for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. And if medicine doesn't work out, Jack's next in line to replace the gentleman from the FedEx commercials that used to talk really fast. Our next inductee is Henry Chick Galpin. Okay. Henry Chick Galpin was best known for being one of the fastest track and field competitors at Bridgewater-Raritan High School. He was the county champ in the 100-yard and 200-yard dashes in 1965, back when we ran yard dashes, not meters. He won the Meet of Champions in the 220. Chick held the record for the 220 for 50 years. Chick Galpin was the Group 4 state champ in the 220 and placed second in the 100. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Henry Chick Galpin.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Thank you. Picture. Oh, picture.
Okay, like Jack, I'm gonna blast through this thing. Okay, coaches and some of the things they let me try. William Applebaum ran me in a 2:20 against Somerville my 8th grade year. I won the race, we won the meet. I still remember my time. It was a big deal for me. Jim DeSico had enough faith in me to run me in the county 2:20 my freshman year. I made the finals. I placed 5th. It got me a varsity letter. Another big deal. George Greiner put me up against the best. Newark Board of Education, Central Jersey, state meets, meet of champions. Fun fact, I actually lettered 2 years in cross country. I was a real challenge to Coach Wilson Bethard. I hated distance running, but you know, it builds strength in a number of different ways. After my senior season, I swore I would never run over a quarter mile again. I'm very thankful for having been able to know and compete for these guys. I wish I had expressed my feelings for them back then, but you know how it is. So now I can say, thanks, Jim. My biggest fan, rain or shine, I could look up in the stands and I could see Mom. She was always there. My brother and I, Gus Duryea, have decided that we got our fast twitch muscles from Mom. But because Title IX wasn't around yet, we never got a chance to confirm that. Finally, I'd like to thank the committee for bestowing this honor on me. It gave this old guy one more chance to pull out that scrapbook and take a walk down memory lane.
You know how they talk about life hacks, how you can do certain things and make your life a little easier? Here's one for you. If you need a drink tonight, ask Chick to go get it for you. He's really fast. Our next inductee is Don Valerio. In the early 1960s, one name rose above the rest as the best athlete in the area, Don Valerio. Don excelled at almost any sport he played in. In football, he was an all-county quarterback. In baseball, he was an all-county and all-Plainfield area shortstop. In golf, the team was undefeated in singles matches with a record of 18-0-1. Don competed in 13 matches and was also undefeated. Pay attention to this next sentence. What makes this accomplishment unique, and it was only done one time as far as we can tell in BRHS history, is that Don competed in both baseball and golf in the same season. The athletic director at the time, A.J. Trosi, had his baseball schedule, but scheduled golf on off days so that Don could compete. Don was named Athlete of the Year for the 1961-62 school year for leadership, loyalty, ability, and sportsmanship by then athletic director A.J. Trosi. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Don Valerio.
Well, I did all those things, but I can't walk a straight line in front of the podium here. Still have quick feet, though. I didn't face plant. So, 60 years ago, ours was the first graduating class at Bridgewater-Raritan High School. And I like to think that our class set an example for those classes that followed. And what followed is what we have today, and that is a school that's highly rated in the state, both athletically and academically. So, it gives me great pleasure to be able to say that. I have 3 generations in my family that are going through the school system. My sons, Michael and Bobby, both played lacrosse for Coach Appel, and now I have 4 grandchildren that are all involved in youth athletics. Rachel and Anna, who are here tonight, and two younger ones, Maeve and Thomas. I want to remember my coaches, and certainly they were great role models for myself in coming through the school. A.J. Trosi for golf, Joe Percara for baseball, Sam Crosby, who's my quarterback coach and longtime principal at the high school, and certainly the first head football coach at BRHS, Enrico Pasilio. And a special thanks to the committee for going back in the archives as far as they could go to find my name and bring me out for this honor tonight. Thank you.
Our next inductee is Jeanette Gefford. Jeanette Gefford was one of the best soccer players for the BRHS Minutemen. With the varsity program from its inception, she earned 3 varsity letters in her 3 years of competition and a state Group 3 state or sectional championship title in 1986. She received several Athlete of the Week awards from Effingers, the Courier News, the Messenger Gazette, and the Star Ledger throughout her career. She was named a first-team All-County player in 1984, 85, and 86, first-team All-Central in 85 and 86, and second-team in 84. She was named first-team All-Group 3 in 1985 and 1986, and first-team All-State in 1986, second-team in 85. She was voted the most valuable player in 1985 and 1986, and in 1985 led the team in scoring with 22 goals and 6 assists. Jeanette also played basketball and ran track for the Minutemen. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Jeanette Gefford.
This is exciting, so I just want to say thank you, everyone. First, I want to thank the selection committee for all the time and effort that they put into this. I know it's a lot of work that goes into the selection process, and hosting an event for this recognition for the recipients. I'd like to also thank my friends, my family, and my teammates. Obviously, soccer is a team sport, and I would not have been able to achieve this without their support. Lastly, and the most importantly, I'd like to thank my coach, Bob Mars. I definitely would not have been up here without the great amount of time and effort he has put into this program. Coach Bob is one of the best coaches I have ever played for. Not only did he know soccer, but he also knew how to handle female athletes, which is not very easy. I would also like to thank his wife, Laura, who was our #1 supporter and the backbone and kept Coach Bob Morris in line. Thank you again, everyone.
You know, as I look out at the crowd tonight, I can't believe what a good-looking group of people you are. So everybody smile, it's selfie time. That'll be on Facebook in minutes. Our next inductee is Coach Mike Lita. Is Mike here? Coach, come on, over there. Mike Lita enjoyed a highly successful collegiate wrestling career for Rutgers University before turning his focus to teaching and coaching at the high school and collegiate levels. At BRHS West, he coached varsity sports in soccer, wrestling, and lacrosse, winning numerous conference, county, and state championships along the way. In wrestling, he compiled a record of 260 wins, 156 losses, 11 ties. In soccer, he compiled a record of 327, 99, and 39. In soccer, Lita was named Coach of the Year by the Courier News in 1983 and 1989, the Home News in 1989, and the Star Ledger for Somerset County Coach of the Year in 1987 and 1994. In wrestling, he was named the Home News Coach of the Year in 1986, the Region 5 Coach of the Year in 1985, and was inducted into the Region 5 Hall of Fame in 1990. He really knows what he's doing. Mike was inducted into the NJSIAA Coaches Hall of Fame in 1984. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Mike Lita.
Yeah!
Uh-oh. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you are having a wonderful time celebrating with old classmates, friends, and teammates. I would like to personally welcome you to the second annual BRHS Hall of Fame ceremonies. I am deeply honored and humbled to have been selected and to have my name among this brilliant group of inductees. I would like to give them my own sincere congratulations at this time. Thank you. I've spent 29 years coaching and teaching, mostly at Bridgewater West, and have experienced firsthand the reuniting of the two high schools in 1991. During this time, I was head coach at 3 varsity sports, 2 JV sports, middle school programs, and in my spare time, officiated softball and baseball. I also started the first varsity boys lacrosse program at Bridgewater West in 1984 and 85. Some of you may not know, but I had spent 7 years coaching at another school before coming to Bridgewater West in 1969. I had some success, but it was kind of tough. When I came to West, it was like a rebirth to me and to my career. In fact, it was just like I got traded to the New York Yankees. As the saying goes, the rest is history. Here I stand today receiving this award that was not all of my own doing. I attribute this to the kind of athletes we have always had at Bridgewater-Raritan. Hardworking, dedicated, and most of all, winners. Let me take this opportunity now to thank each and every kid for the blood, sweat, and tears they gave to me and to the sports they loved. And I'm proud to say that along with myself, 2 of my boys are being inducted here with me tonight, Jeff Mace and Gabe Troopy. No coach is successful on his own, and just like the players, it takes teamwork. So again, I would like to publicly thank all of my assistants, many of them who were with me from day one until the final whistle. John Rattel, Bob Fisher, Carl Evans, Al Rossi, Bill Dudek, Al Ray, Scott Hobbs, and Ernie Van Ness, who was inducted last year to the Hall of Fame. I hope I didn't forget anyone. Plus, all the parents who pitched in and supported the programs. This honor I share with them. And mostly not to forget, I would be remiss if I didn't thank my family for the sacrifices they made along the way while I was pursuing my dream. Thank you. Thank you again for this cherished honor. Enjoy the rest of this fabulous evening, and God bless you all.
Our next inductee is Jeff Mace. Jeff Mace was one of the best wrestlers to ever come out of BRHS West. He earned 4 varsity letters in wrestling. He was a three-time He was a three-time county and district champion. He was also a runner-up and champion in the region. Jeff was also a New Jersey state champion in the 122 class. He was undefeated in his senior year and posted a 74-9 career record. Jeff was named the Athlete of the Year at West in 1975. He also was an AAU champion in 1975 and a two-time Freestyle Federation champion. He was the Eastern Seaboard champion in his senior year and placed in the top 8 of the nation. In college, he was the Division III runner-up in the 1977 National Championships. Jeff has been the middle school coach in Berners, New Jersey, and has coached wrestlers privately for over 20 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Jeff Mace.
That was my wrestling coach who was just speaking to you.
Yeah!
I believe in the chaos theory that things happen randomly in life, and the fact that I got to follow Mr. Lita tonight only proves it. When I was a freshman, I had a gym class, and Mr. Lita was my gym teacher. I had never wrestled before. When wrestling season came, he asked me to come out for the team. It changed my life. I can't thank him enough. Mr. Lita has been inducted into so many halls of fame, they really have to start inventing new ones for him. I'm so thankful for the teammates I've had. Some are here tonight, Gary Burnaby, a Raritan boy, Joey Winchuck, but there's one person in particular I owe so much to. This man was as gracious back then as he is today. This is Mr. Ernie Van Ness. Ernie welcomed me onto the team, and he walked up to me and said, "Hi, my name's Ernie Van Ness, and I'm going to be a state champion." I didn't know what that meant at the time, but Ernie looked like a Greek god, so I figured it's got to be true. A few weeks later, I made varsity, and Ernie said to me, "You know, Jeff, you're pretty good. You could be a state champ too." At that time, me and Ernie made a pact that we would help each other fulfill that dream. Ernie would come to practice and say, "You know, Jeff, I ran 3 miles last night." I'd say, "Pretty good, Ernie, I ran 5. The other person, God, I'm so thankful for my parents who've been so supportive of me in my life. My mother took me and Ernie all over the state during the summer to wrestle in tournaments, spending countless hours on hard bleachers. I am so thankful she's here tonight. Mom, thank you so much. I love you. The other thing I am really so thankful for in going to Bridgewater West is that I met my wife, Maureen O'Regan, there. Me and Maureen have had just a wonderful journey through life. I just love her dearly. We have 3 great children, Rory, Arlen, and Luke. My kids have great partners, Monica and Johanna. We're also fortunate we even have great dogs, okay? I really want to thank the committee tonight for honoring me with this. This is just a great honor. I congratulate all the other inductees tonight. And the last thing I'm really thankful for at going to Bridgewater West is East is East and West is West, and everyone knows that West is best. Thank you. Everybody have a good evening.
And now for some of you, the best part of the night is coming up right now, and that's dinner. How we're going to do this, it's going to be buffet style. And what we're going to ask is we're going to start from this side of the room. So those tables along the wall, you can get up, head out and get your dinner, and then try to get back as quickly as possible. Not a lot of mingling because we got to get everybody in and out as quickly as possible so we can get the dinner or the rest of the program up and running by 8:30. So if those tables can go, then we'll get going. The rest of you, feel free to talk amongst yourselves.
what am I doing? I was like, oh, shit. I said, I didn't have to listen. I'm trying to read without my glasses like a stupid ass.
No problem. Is she out there or
So she just went out.
Okay. I want to go to the live stream. The next row of tables can make their way out and get their food. The next row over here can make their way out to get their food. All right, the next row of tables down the middle here, you can head out and get your food if you haven't done so already. right, anybody else who hasn't gotten their food can head out now and get their food. Thank you.
You're doing? Nah, we're live streaming. Oh, really? You didn't say no, it's part of this back. Come on. Then you should get in because you're in a live stream. Yeah. So I sent Lindsay the link. Oh, wow. Yeah, congrats. How you doing? I'm good. I'm counting the days. It's hard. I have 22 guys. Wow. It's hard to find good guys. That's the most people. Yeah. You know, I don't know if they don't play Saturday games anymore, but I feel like back in the day, they used to do more Saturday games. I feel like everything is, they play everything on Friday now. It's hard. I know all the other guys that, have companies like Ryan or Jersey. Everybody's got the same. I guess everybody in the world is, right? Sounds like employees, COVID, yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. That's great. But you know what? It's better than the alternative, right? It is. I think over the next couple of years, not that I really want to get out of it, but I think the game film is kind of going to go away with these AI cameras now. I start to see them already. I tell my guys all the time, we got to start transitioning into something else. So I'm going to try to get into the corporate world, corporate video. I've done some. I think the money's good. Yeah. I can get more of a steady schedule. I miss all my kids' stuff on the weekends now. How many kids you have? We got 2 daughters. One's a sophomore in Bridgewater. Yeah. Yeah, I think I brought her around. They're very, very excited. I remember. Yeah. So, it's been good, but like I said, I tell my wife all the time, I make all my money on the weekend. She's like, take a day off. I'm like, it costs me a couple $100 to take a day off, At least. So, it is what it is. It's good. Congratulations. Compared to being broken. Congratulations.
Folks, if you didn't get 50-50, Bobby Bryant and Tyson Murdoch, yeah, you, Bobby, are going to be going around selling them. We'll let you know a little later in the program how much we're at. Right? They'll be coming around during the show, see if you want any more. I hope everybody's enjoying their dinner. We're going to get going in a couple minutes here.
Everybody back up there.
Everybody, we're going to get going with the show again here.
Oh, Kathy.
Bobby, steal it from Kathy. Folks, as we get going, we have your attention again, please. Okay, as we get going here, I'd like to take a moment here and thank, I overlooked a big part of our committee. And when I say a big part of the committee, it is like the lone wolf on our committee. This person controls us, dominates us, and actually is the boss of the committee. And that's teacher, coach, Kathy DeBonis. Without her, things don't run. She makes sure every one of the notes is taken at those meetings, so when we call back, because all us older guys can't remember what we did 30 seconds ago, we call Kathy, say, Kathy, what did we talk about last night? And Kathy tells us what we did. So Kathy, thank you. Kathy's over there selling a 50-50 now, all right? And I'll turn it back over to Jim. Thank you, everybody. Hope you're enjoying the evening. Here we go.
All right, thanks, Dick. We're ready to get this started again, so if we can have your attention, we like to give all of our inductees the same level of respect that all the others had. So if we could all just keep it down, we'll get through the rest of the program. Our next inductee is Patricia Shirego. Patricia Shirego was originally hired as a phys ed and health instructor at BRHS West. During her time at West, she also coached the girls' swim team, compiling an impressive 161, 10, and 1 record. She guided her teams to 7 Somerset County championships and 8 Mid-State and Skyland Conference championships. In 1991-92, her team won the state championship. Also in 1992, Patricia was named the Star Ledger Coach of the Year and was also inducted into the New Jersey Coaches Hall of Fame in 1987. Ladies and gentlemen, Patricia Shirego could not join us tonight, but sent me this letter to read to you tonight. To begin, I want to thank you all those involved for the time and effort in putting on an event of this magnitude. Accept my deepest gratitude for this induction into the Bridgewater-Raritan Hall of Fame. I am deeply honored for this recognition and in the selection to be part of such a prestigious group. It is so important to keep the tradition of Bridgewater-Raritan athletics alive. As you know, the dedication involved in creating teams that excel affects each individual and the team as a whole, not only while participating within the sport, but preparing the athlete for many challenges each will face during his or her lifetime, both personally and professionally. In addition to thanking you, I want to shout out kudos for Carl Wigner and Kathy DeBonis for their involvement, support, and dedication. Each were so instrumental in the team's endeavors and also in making the BR Hall of Fame possible. They deserve a standing ovation. Success cannot happen in a vacuum. They are a culmination of the contributions of each athlete, assistant coaches, and parents, all of which are an integral part of said accomplishments. Again, I want to thank you and everyone involved for putting in the many hours of hard work that an event like this demands. Most sincerely, Patricia M. Shirego. We also have breaking news from the Torpy Athletic Complex in Somerville. Our boys soccer team just became Somerset County champions, defeating Bernards 4-1 today. The tradition continues. Our next inductee is Joanne Warbitz. In the mid-1970s, Joanne Warbitz was a dominant force in women's athletics at BRHS West. She was a 4-year varsity letter winner in basketball and softball, in addition to playing 2 years of varsity field hockey. In basketball, Joanne was the first female basketball player to score 1,000 points during her career. In 1978, Warbitz was named the Female Athlete of the Year at West. Ladies and gentlemen, Joanne Warbitz could not be with us tonight due to recent shoulder surgery. She did, however, write the following note to share with all of you. She says, "Hello all. I wish I could be in attendance with all of you lovely people. I have so much to say. First off, I want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Carl Wigner, who nominated me for this prestigious award. I am truly grateful. Thanks to so many people, my coaches and staff, the fans, faculty, the administration, and all who believed in me. Special thanks go out to all of my teammates. Without them, I would never have achieved the goal of being the first woman to score 1,000 points. This has been one of the greatest triumphs of my life. And thank you to Bridgewater-Raritan High School West. Please know that I appreciate you all. My 4 years at BRHS has been one of the best memories of my life. Special thanks to Mrs. Alice Yan, may she rest in peace, Mr. Art Goldsworthy, and last but not least, my favorite, Mrs. Jeanette Petrus, also to rest in peace. And finally, these awards are for you, Mom. Rest in peace. You always believed in me, and I can't wait to be reunited with you again. I appreciate you all. Joanne Warbitz. We're going to take a little time out now. John Madger, are you here? Can you help me with this? And is Kathy nearby or selling tickets? Kathy DeBonis, are you in the room? Can somebody grab her? And John, you come up here, John? John, can you come up here? And Kathy? This is the infamous Kathy DeBonis we've been talking about all night. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is John Maggio. John is our athletic director, and he has truly elevated the athletic program at Bridgewater-Raritan over the last 24 years. I thought I said I was bringing you up here to talk about Kathy. No, I'm not. But John has announced his retirement effective November 30th. He wanted no party, no fanfare, but we couldn't just let him leave without recognizing him. John loves fishing, so we got him a present, a personalized tackle box filled with his favorite candies and a stack of tribute cards from coaches, administrators, friends, and colleagues from around the state. Special thanks to Kathy DeBonis for helping to coordinate this effort. John, you can have the box and enjoy your time out fishing for steelhead no matter where you go. John's wife Chrissy, daughters Fran and Dina could not be here tonight. John's son Jake is playing football for West Liberty University. And if you look at the pictures, you'll see how the box is decorated with the BR logo, his name, and the Bound Brook logo, because that was the original school he came from. The top two shelves are full of candy. John, feel free to share with me at any time. And then down on the bottom, you see that stack of cards. That's about 125 cards from administrators, coaches, and folks who, if you read these things, it would bring tears to your eyes. You're going to have a fun time reading all those. John, congratulations and enjoy retirement. That's the only way we can do it. I'm going to call Jeff Mace up again. No, you're not getting another award. You left one here. So whenever you get a chance, stop up and grab that. Our next inductee is Bob Burnaby. There he is. Bob's career as the boys and girls tennis coach at BRHS East spanned 4 years and amassed 550 wins. His boys' teams achieved 7 Mid-State Conference titles and 8 Somerset County championships. In 1983, Bob led the Minutemen to both the Central Jersey Group 3 championships and the Group 3 state championship with an impressive 25-1 record. On the girls' tennis team, he led them to 3 Mid-State championships, and in 1989 led them to the Central Jersey Group 2 state championship. He was also named the Courier News Coach of the Year and the Star Ledger Coach of the Year. Bob was inducted into the New Jersey State Coaches Association Hall of Fame in 1983. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Bob Burnaby.
You know, there are actually more people here than ever attended any of the boys or girls varsity games. Totally. So we're here. Secondly, I'd like to thank the committee for selecting me for the Hall of Fame. It's tough to talk to everybody with food stuck between your teeth. Don't worry, I can't see it. That's right. I would certainly like to recognize myself and Richie Martin for 50 years ago, whoever thought that the two of us would be selected to the Hall of Fame. That was a long time ago. Now we joined Joe Picaro and the three of us from Raritan, representing Raritan, not, the other side. Not the other side. I would especially like to recognize my JV coach, Joe Kronetsky. I wouldn't be here without him. He did a super job with the JV and selecting the kids and teaching them before they got to me. All I had to do was retrain them. Two people I'd like to recognize that I've had on the team. One is Richard Arnold, who was undefeated freshman year, county champion, undefeated sophomore year, junior year, senior year, county championship, all that time. Doesn't happen in too many sports. The other person I like to recognize, and not too many coaches have this opportunity to coach their own child, but I did for 4 years. My daughter Alyssa, who was county champ sophomore year, junior year, senior year, and state recognized senior year. So that was a pleasure. My tennis coaching years have been very memorial, and most of all, I'd like to thank my wife for putting up with all the aggravation and the BS, and always having the meals there when we came home. So, thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Jeff Vanderbeek. The mid-1970s saw a continuation of Minutemen dominance for BRHS East on the gridiron, led by speedy and elusive running back Jeff Vanderbeek. Jeff would go on to earn 7 varsity letters, 3 in football, 3 in track and field, and 1 in baseball. Vanderbeek received numerous awards from local media and set several school records during his tenure as the Minutemen, including all-time career rushing leader with 2,085 yards, single season rushing leader, 1,243 yards, second highest scoring total with 166 career points, and was named the MVP in 1974 and Player of the Year honors as well as the Mid-State Conference scoring leader the same year. Jeff helped lead the Minutemen to a Group 3 Central Jersey State Championship in Atlantic City versus Carteret. Jeff went on to play football at the College of William and Mary on scholarship, and after a successful career on Wall Street, became the owner of the New Jersey Devils franchise of the National Hockey League. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Jeff Vanderbeek.
First off, let me thank you, Jim, and tell you how thankful I am to be able to celebrate this night tonight with you. Thank you. Congratulations to my fellow inductees. I'm especially proud to be inducted along with my childhood heroes. You see, when I was in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, the East football team, I basically lived and died with my brothers on the scores of the games, and lucky for us, they never lost, so we had a pretty good time. Yeah. Thank you to the committee, led by Dick Myers. As he said, there's been plenty of fits and starts over the last 20 years to try to get this up and going, but about 5 years ago, we got together and said that we needed to check our egos at the door, along with our black, gold, silver, red, and blue. And that attitude, along with some cat herding by Dick, got it done. So thank you to the rest of the committee. You know, if you know me, I'll tell anybody that wants to listen that I couldn't have asked for a better place, better environment to grow up. And a big part of that was my time at East, thanks to the many fabulous coaches, teachers, and administrators. People like Coach Griner, quite frankly, cared more about you off the field than on it. And assistant coaches, Adams, Apsley, Odino, Gara, Gates, Ginty, Norton, and Panzarella, my freshman coach. They were all great teachers, great coaches, and are always prepared. administrators like Joe Picara, our athletic director. I'll never forget freshman year. I was called down to Mr. Picara's office, and boy, was I scared. I was only a freshman. Well, I got down there, and all he wanted to do was discuss how it was going in the new school. He was such a great guy. Principal Jim DeSico, it was just great to see him again tonight, who, no matter where you were, including down at LBI, always said hello, always engaged in a conversation. All those people and more, I remember on Saturday afternoons were on our sidelines at home games, giving up their Saturdays. It's indelible in my mind. I also want to thank my teammates. I certainly wouldn't be here without them. You could always trust, come crunch time, that they would always be there and come through for you. And finally, I'd like to thank my family, my mom, who was a saint, raising 3 boys. She took my brothers and I to all the games, all the East games, including a game at Millville, which was about 5 hours round trip. My dad, he introduced me to sports at a very early age and would drop everything to support anything I needed help with. My brothers, who made sure we always had enough players for knee football, and my wife Debbie, fellow East alum, and finally my wonderful children. Thank you for celebrating with me tonight. In closing, I'd like to tell you, to remind you of something that Eric Murdoch said last year, about how even though you may have grown up in Bridgewater, Raritan, Findern, Hobbstown, Martinsville, or Bradley Gardens, it was a special time and a close-knit community. I couldn't agree more. Thank you very much.
If anybody wants Jeff's award, I'm putting it up on eBay for $50. Next we have James Norgalis. In the late 1980s, the Bridgewater-Raritan High School West Golden Falcons swim team continued its dominance behind James Norgalis. James had many accomplishments in the pool, most notably being the 100 breaststroke state champion in 1989 and being named the Pirate Invitational Most Valuable Athlete the same year. He was also a National Merit Scholar in 1989, a Courier News Scholar Athlete, a 4-time Messenger Gazette Athlete of the Week, and in 1988 was named a Courier News All-Area Athlete. James set many records during his career, including the 200 IM, the 100 breast in 1989 in the Mid-State Conference. He held the Somerset County record in the 200 IM and 100 breast in both 1988 and 1989. And he holds the BRHS record in these events, as well as the 500 free, 200 medley relay, and 400 freestyle relay. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee James Norgalis.
Come on now. Stay. Good boy. Good evening, everyone. Let me start by thanking the selection committee for honoring me with this induction into the Bridgewater-Raritan Athletic Hall of Fame. Swimmers are an interesting breed of athletes. It's just you and the clock. Sure, there are other swimmers in the pool, but in the end, it's just you against your best time. A typical swimmer will practice anywhere between 20 and 30 hours a week in the pool, and often spend hours in a gymnasium or cafeteria in somewhere waiting for their 30 seconds to a minute to actually have their swim and their opportunity to race Father Time. For most, and this is especially true in my case, there are 3 people generally to thank for this opportunity. The first 2 are my parents, my father Howard, who is here tonight, and my mother Pam, who sadly could not be with us. I cannot quantify the sacrifices they made or count the time they spent enabling me to becoming the athlete being honored here tonight. The hours of travel, waiting to cheer for 30 seconds or a minute, and then hours of travel, practice, a house that reeks of chlorine, wet clothing, frozen hair, and some of you, my classmates from 1989, remember in my case, no hair. The third is my coach, and I've had the privilege to call a number of good people my coach, one of them being honored tonight, Patricia Sharega. Other coaches include Vince Bruns, Jerry Tutak, Ed Suzuki, Tom Welchek, and James Coletta. Without their guidance, training, and patience, I would not be the athlete being honored here tonight. And so I stand before you as an inductee, the product of the love, care, and dedication of so many. And to them I say, thank you.
Our next inductee is Jeff Hines. Jeff Hines was one of the most prolific runners in BRHS East history. On his way to running into the BR record books, Jeff amassed some impressive stats along the way, including all group state champion and group 3 state champion in the 1500 in 1980. Jeff was the sectional champion in the 800 and 1500 in 1979 and 1980. Additionally, he was the Somerset County champion in the 800 and 1500 in 79 and 1980. Jeff was also the Section 1 cross-country champion in 1977 and 78, and the cross-country Somerset County and Conference champion in 1980. He currently still holds the school record in the 800 and 1500. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Jeff Hines.
Well, good evening, Golden Falcons, Minutemen, and Panthers. Thank you for this honor. By the way, I think I still hold the 1500 because they went to 1600 a couple years after I left.
I didn't want to say that.
So I come from a mixed family. I was the youngest of 7 kids in our house. The first 4 went to West. They moved the line. The last 3 went to East. The peak of our annual dysfunction was every Thanksgiving when we'd pile into the station wagon. Half of us would go to the west side of Basilone Field, and half would go to the east side. Since the football teams never tied, it was always an awkward ride home. First, I'd like to thank all of my teammates, especially lifelong friends Dave Spiegel and Pete Sottmeyer, who are also relay teammates and never dropped the baton. Thanks, guys. Also, many, many thanks to all the coaches out there. Without your dedication and commitment, none of this would be possible. I'd especially like to thank my cross-country coach, Marty Redier, my track coach and lifelong friend, Gus Durier, who is with us tonight. And also I'd like to honor coach and my marathon mentor, Rich Martin, who was truly a blessing for me, got me started on the marathon trail. I'd also like to thank my siblings, their spouses, and my wife for attending tonight. None of us live in the area anymore, and they all flew in to share this event with me. This is the first time we've been back in Bridgewater since 1980. Did you know there's a mall? In particular, I'd like to thank my older brother Rick, who went to West, had an incredible career as a middle distance runner. Although he was 8 years older than me, he was my running mentor, and who I always called as soon as I beat one of his times, in what we jokingly called a new FR, or family record. So thank you, Rick, for a lifetime of running. And oh, by the way, I beat you into the Hall of Fame. And finally, although our parents aren't with us anymore, their genetics and my mom's untiring enthusiasm to watch her kids run in circles were truly my greatest strength. Thank you all.
Our next inductee is Gabe Troopy. Gabe Troopy was a 3-year varsity starter in soccer for the Golden Falcons at BRHS West. Gabe scored 70 goals during his varsity career at West. He scored 43 goals in his senior year, which set a new school record. Gabe was named First Team All-Mid-Atlantic Conference, First Team All-State for 2 years, First Team All-Conference 2 years, First Team All-County for 3 years, and he was named team captain 2 years and led the team to the county championships twice. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Gabe Troopy.
Wow, I'm truly honored and humbled by this award. You know, when Coach Lita came to see me almost a year ago to talk about this, as we were talking, all these thoughts and memories came flying back. The first thought was, how in the heck did 40 years go by? And then all the soccer memories started coming. But it wasn't about a game or all the goals or the championships. It was about being in the field house, on the soccer field with the teammates practicing. Running up and down Bunker Hill, as we called it, or the 5-mile loop around the golf course or doing 10 laps before each practice. And we would walk out there and go, how the heck are we gonna get out of doing 10? And then we get to the field and Paul the Better would be on lap 15. And you're like, I guess we're doing 10. Those are the memories I could talk about all day, but we don't have that kind of time. So I would just like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for this great award. I would like to thank and congratulate all the other inductees tonight. I would like to thank all my teammates over the years and coaches who helped me achieve everything. I would especially like to thank my brother Carlo, who when we were very young allowed me to tag along and play with guys that were much bigger, stronger, and older than me, which made me a much better player. Lastly, I would like to thank my beautiful family who supported me and let me keep playing until very old and never complained. And now I'll get my greatest joy in soccer watching my 2 granddaughters play the game that I love, and hopefully I can pass down some knowledge to them. Again, congratulations to all, and thank you very much.
Our next inductee is Bob Morris. Bob served as a special education teacher in the district for 37 years. Additionally, he held several coaching positions during his tenure here, including boys freshman soccer coach from 1978 to 1983. He was the first varsity girls soccer coach at BRHS East in 1984. He led the team to the 1986 NJSIAA Group 3 State Championship and was named Coach of the Year by the Star Ledger. In 1987, he led his team to the NJSIAA Group 2 State Championship. In 1992, he was named the New Jersey Girls Soccer Coaches Association Coach of the Year. In 1992, he was also named the National Soccer Coaches Association of America Secondary Schools Girls Soccer Coach of the Year, and in 1995, the Courier News Coach of the Year. In 2003, his team was the NJSIAA State Championship Group 4 runner-up. He led his teams to several conference championships, including the Mid-State Conference in 1987 and 1988, the Skyland Conference Delaware Division in 1991, 93, 94, 97, 2004, 2005, the Somerset County Champions in 1987, 88, 92, 93, 94, 95. He also served 13 years as assistant coach to girls lacrosse. His final coaching stats after 23 years as head coach was 321, 135. Trying to get his resume onto our Hall of Fame plaques was a monumental task, but we got it. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Bob Morris.
Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to congratulate all the other inductees being honored here tonight. I would especially like to thank Kathy DeBonis for nominating me for this very prestigious honor. I'm deeply humbled. I have many people to thank for helping me get to this pinnacle of my coaching career. I've heard it said that coaching is much like teaching grammar school. You teach fundamentals, the basics. In grammar school, they are affectionately known as the 3 R's: reading, writing, arithmetic. Well, in my BR coaching career, we too stressed the fundamentals, but they were known as different letters with Rich, Rob, and Rick. Those were my 3 assistant coaches, and I wouldn't be here today without their help. Rich Byrne was my freshman coach, Rob Hamilton was my JV coach, Rick Harmon, my varsity assistant coach. We were an awesome team together. I also want to thank all the athletic directors that I had the privilege of working for: John Maggio, Carl Wigner, Jim Norton, Joe Fisher, and Bill Madera. And yes, I'm that old. And to all my players, I wish they were all here so I could give them each a big hug. We had some great times together, and practices were fun and full of surprises. But when it came time to play, make no mistake, no team was more serious and dedicated to kicking your butt than the Bridgewater girls soccer team. And of course, I want to thank my family. are all here tonight celebrating this great honor with me. A special thanks to my wife, who for 23 years, every fall meant many nights of me getting home late, county games on weekends, preseason camps, seating meetings, etc. Thank you for your patience and your understanding as I pursued my passion. In closing, thank you to the Hall of Fame Committee for this honor. I'm so very proud to have represented Bridgewater-Raritan High School, and I, along with my wife, continue to be big BR fans, and you will still see us at many of the girls' soccer games. Thank you once again. Go BR.
Our next inductee is Lisa Adams. Lisa Adams was a two-sport athlete for the Golden Falcons of BRHS West. In gymnastics, she was the Somerset County champion, placing first in the vault, floor, bars, and all-around. In track and field, she excelled at the high jump and was the Mid-State Conference and Somerset County high jump champion. She was also the state sectional and Group 3 long jump champion. She held records in the high jump at 5 feet 8 inches, the long jump at 18 feet 3.5 inches, and was undefeated in dual meets in the high jump. In the all groups meet, she placed third in the long jump and fourth in the high jump. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Lisa Adams.
Thank you. This is a great honor, you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Hall of Fame committee for this wonderful honor. Mr. Minetti, thank you so very much for your nomination. Your recognition of my athletic achievements in high school and our subsequent discussions that we've had after the nomination have been a great reminder to me that I am more than a mother, wife, and chief community volunteer. So thank you so much for that. Athletics were my absolute joy growing up and obviously a significant part of my life. My parents have been my #1 supporters, and I thank them for everything that they did, all the competitions. Gymnastics was a lot like swimming, you know, you wait a long time and then you finally get to compete. You guys know that. So, you know, all the practices, the competitions. They live in North Carolina now, so they're not here, but they definitely did remind me that they provided the genetics. I was very blessed with great high school coaches, teammates, teachers, friends, athletic director, Mr. Wigner. No, you're around here, like close by. Thank you so much. Mr. Wigner is an incredible support of the sport of gymnastics at our school and of me at track. I've had interactions with my son's high school athletic director, and there's still nobody like Mr. Wigner. A lot of my friends have been here tonight. Thank you so much. One of my teachers, Mr. Farley, amazing English teacher. If you guys are ever lucky enough to still have a teacher in your life, be sure to thank them. Really appreciate it. Thank you to my friends that came out for me tonight on my behalf. Ms. Chalet, my high school gymnastics coach, was here. We were talking about that. You have no idea how lucky we were to have someone as esteemed, who is Ms. Chalet. She was the coach of Rutgers for 25 years. She's still involved in elite gymnastics. At the time, Dawn and Sue, we had no idea how lucky we were. So Ms. Chalet, hopefully you'll see this sometime. We really appreciate that. Thanks to my husband, Johnny, and my youngest son, Tyler, who are here tonight. I have 2 boys. One is in college. He's not here. And then the other's a senior in high school. They both are scholar athletes. Lacrosse. I didn't even know West had a lacrosse team. That's really bad. So they came out with me from Pittsburgh. Tyler and Jack, that's my other son, your SAT scores and your grades may be better than mine, but for now, I think we have finally settled who the best athlete in the family is. Yeah!
I love those jabs. This next one's going to be a little tough for me, but I'm going to try to get through it. Our next inductee is Rich Martin. Rich Martin compiled one of the most impressive and long-lasting tenures of 51 years of coaching in Bridgewater-Raritan. Recognized mostly as the track and cross-country coach, Rich also coached golf, football, and was an assistant coach on the 1976 state championship girls basketball team at BRHS East. His golf teams amassed 200 career wins and 3 Somerset County and 3 state district championships. He coached girls cross country for 41 years and won 3 Somerset County championships, 3 state sectional championships. He qualified his teams for the state group championships numerous times and was named Coach of the Year in 1991. He was inducted into the NJSCA Hall of Fame as a coach for golf and cross country in 2007. He was honored for 50 years of service in 2017 by the Skyland Conference. Rich also started the winter track program at Bridgewater-Raritan. Sadly, Rich passed away on November 3rd, 2021, after a long illness. Here to accept his award is his wife, Annie.
Thank you to the committee. This would have really meant the world to my husband. Coaching meant the world to my husband, as did Bridgewater-Raritan. He attended West as a Golden Falcon, coached as a Minuteman and a Panther. He used to always joke that he never got out of high school. I truly believe as we all get older, we start to think about our legacy and the things that we leave behind. And Rich's legacy was to have helped so many student athletes reach their potential. One of the things I'm most proud of him for is he cared every bit about that last runner to cross the finish line than he did the first runner. He was all about runners learning that they could work through hard things and come out stronger and better for having persisted. So again, thank you on behalf of Rich. This would have been amazing for him to have been here for this, so thank you.
Our next inductee is Linda Mueller. Linda Mueller was one of the best gymnasts to ever compete for BRHS West. She made the varsity team as a freshman in just the team's second varsity season. She would help lead the team to a record of 11-4 and a mid-state conference championship in 1976-77. The following year, the team compiled a 10-2 record on their way to a second mid-state conference championship, as well as a Somerset County championship in the county tournament. Linda placed first in the floor as a tie, first in vault, the balance beam, and was named first all-around. She was also named to the 1977 All-County team. In all 4 years of varsity competition, she held the high score for vault, and in her senior year, held the high score for balance beam. Linda went on to compete in the all-around competition for Rutgers University and returned to Bridgewater as the coach of the BRHS East gymnastics team for 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Linda Mueller.
Hi, everyone. I want to take this opportunity to thank the Hall of Fame committee members for selecting me to be part of the 2022 class of inductees, and a huge congratulations to all the other inductees. When Jimmy Gano contacted me that I had been selected, I took a trip down memory lane, pulling out all my photo albums, yearbooks, and reading some of the articles about my gymnastics career at Bridgewater. When I started at Bridgewater, the gymnastics team was only in its second year, and that year 6 freshmen were named to the varsity squad. The 6 of us proved to be a force over the next 4 years, and we finished our time at Bridgewater West by winning the first Somerset County Championship. Our team not only won that county tournament, but we swept almost every event that day. That year, the team also won the mid-state title, and 3 of us were named to the Somerset County All-Star team. I appreciate all the support I got from my teammates and my coach, Crystal Chalet Norton, during my time at Bridgewater West. I went on to pursue my love of gymnastics at Rutgers University, where I competed all 4 years, and then judged high school gymnastic meets into my adulthood. I know that I would not have been as successful without the support and encouragement from coaches and teammates in those high school years at Bridgewater. Lastly, a huge thanks to my mom, some of you may know, Nancy Mueller-Holmberg, for all of her support during those years. Thank you again.
Our next inductee is Ron Fulop. Ron Fulop was a talented football player playing quarterback for the Golden Falcons of BRHS West. In 1967, he earned honorable mention honors in the All-Area Poll and was named second team All-County. In 1968, Fulop threw for 1,984 yards and 22 touchdown passes. For his career, Fulop passed for over 3,200 yards and 35 touchdowns. As a result, he achieved first team status All-State, All-Group honors from the Star-Ledger and the Newark Evening News. He was also an honorable mention All-American. In addition, he earned first team All-Area, All-County, and All-Mid-State Conference honors. He was named Back of the Year by the New Brunswick Touchdown Club, and the Somerville Lions Club named him Athlete of the Year. Ron also played basketball and baseball, where he received all Mid-State Conference and All-County honorable mention honors in 1968 and 69 for both sports. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Ron Fulop. That's a good picture.
Well, I'd like to thank the committee, just like a lot of other folks did. I think that everything you're giving back to the communities of Raritan and Bridgewater. How was that, Hav? As you heard, a lot of the inductees here have thanked a lot of folks that were very key in terms of their development. And in my case, I just would like to highlight three major groups. The first is my family, and in particular, my brother Steve. Steve was inducted into the Hall last year as the starting point guard on the 65 state Group 4 champions. And he also was a quarterback on the Bridgewater-Raritan football team. So many nights we would, after dinner, go in the backyard and throw the ball. Now, for those of you that are familiar with some of the lots in Raritan, there's probably the longest pass in my backyard was 15 yards. But we still worked on that and worked on technique and getting self-confidence. And I'm sure it was not what he wanted to do after, being 4 years older, throwing with his kid brother, but he did it. And I'm not sure I ever really thanked him for that. Second group of people were my coaches, two in particular. One was Chuck Nelson, who was our head coach, and who was truly one of, he certainly was truly one of the great offensive minds in high school football. He played at Brown University and set most of the pass receiving records there, and it was just terrific. Now, when I was a sophomore, we ended up looking at game film from a high school in Ohio. And you have to realize this is black and white, grainy, 16 millimeter film. And he says, you see this play, and I can barely see what's on the screen. But after a while, you got to see that this truly was a creative offense that he wanted to implement at Bridgewater-Raritan West, which he did. And it was great because we were probably the only school in the state that had any offense that looked like that. And so we actually had an advantage as a result. The other coach is someone who you probably haven't heard his name tonight, is Carl Wigner. Anyway, he used to work with the backs and the wide receivers, and he truly was tremendous in developing us in terms of giving us great drills to improve our skills, and made practices fun, which when you're in high school, that's a pretty important thing. And I think that he was also, this is probably his greatest attribute, he gave terrific nicknames to most of the players. And some of which I think he still he doesn't even know their first name, he just knows them by their nickname. And lastly, I want to thank my teammates. I was fortunate enough to have two of the top wide receivers in the state playing with me. One was Tom Roushey, and he was inducted in this Hall of Fame last year, and Randy Sinclair. And when I went to play football at Penn, we had about 15 wide receivers when I was a freshman. And not one of those wide receivers were anywhere as good as Randy and Roush, which gives you an idea how good they were. Probably 75% of my completions were to those two guys, while they were double teamed virtually every play, but still managed to find a way to get open. I think I pretty much utilized my time. It's truly an honor to be included with these great athletes tonight, and I want to thank you very much.
I just want to give you a little heads up. There are only 63 days until Christmas. Now, if you went to Costco in July, you would have known that, that it was coming up very quickly. And now, why, in the middle of this presentation, would I be talking to you about Christmas? Well, I want to talk to you about, and Jeff alluded to our heroes growing up, but our next inductee is one of mine. And when I was 8 years old, I got the very best Christmas present that I could ever get, that I've ever gotten in my entire life, and I still have it. And it was an autographed picture from Coach George Greiner and our next inductee, Gary Debs. I don't know about you guys, but it's getting hot in here. You got to give me a second. Because we're going to do this next induction right. Gary Debs was one of the most accomplished athletes to ever come out of BRHS East. He earned 9 varsity letters, but was most notably the best tight end to ever play football for the Minutemen, amassing 96 receptions for 17 touchdowns and 1,499 receiving yards, a 15.6 yard per catch average during his career. Gary Debs received numerous first-team accolades, including All-State, All-Area, All-Mid-State Conference, All-Somerset County by 2 newspapers. He was named the Somerset County Athlete of the Year, as well as the MVP for the High School East football team. Gary also played basketball and baseball for the Minutemen, earning second-team All-County honors in each, and each team won their respective Mid-State Conference championships. Gary Debs would earn a full football scholarship to Penn State, where he appeared in 3 bowl games, the Cotton, Sugar, and Orange, winning 2 of them. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, Gary Debs. Sign this shirt. Very good.
Pleasure, my friend. Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Wow, it's very nice. You look good in that jersey, by the way. My teammates, coaches, I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee, not just for this great night, but for all the hard work in organizing and managing this committee. It's got to be tough to make decisions that they've made. I remember Joe Piccaro, back in a couple of years back, was planning a Hall of Fame for East. And he would be really proud tonight if he was to see that East and West are back together again, since he had such a positive effect on so many of us. So our thanks to Joe Piccaro. Now, there's been a lot of discussion as to why East men's and women's teams were so successful in the early years. Now, I don't have a lot of time, so I know our friends from West want to hear the whole story, but I'm going to kind of summarize it for you. The consensus was that we had our fair share of good athletes, but East had great men's and women's coaches. And thanks to our legendary athletic director, Joe Piccaro, who was a coach and, of course, an athletic director as well. He was awesome. It was an honor for my football teammates and myself to play for Coach George Greiner. Early on, he really set a high standard for us and earned our respect. He had a great staff as well. I know, Jeff, you mentioned a few of the people. I'm going to mention them again because it's well worth it. Coaches, Dave Adams, Coach Apsley, Bodino, Panzarella, and Copperwatts, and Coach Norton. I saw Coach Norton earlier today. They were awesome. My classmates and I did want to acknowledge our 19
68 team. We were 7-1-1 that year, and 7 of the 34 games in that George Greiner undefeated streak came from them. And I just wanted to, to make note of those team captains: George Herr, Charlie Sandora, Jay Persinko, as well as the rest of that gang. The teams that followed us were also undefeated. We were honored tonight wrapping up George Greiner's 34-0 undefeated season, those 2 other teams. Coach Greiner will always be an important part of all of our lives. He was an awesome guy, and we miss him. In basketball, in our senior year, we were led by 2 juniors, a guy by the name of Lauren Bates and another guy by the name of Jim Barry. And you may have remembered those 2 guys. Lauren scored over 1,500 points in his career. Jimbo scored over 1,000. Lauren was a great left-handed pitcher, as we all know. And he ended up, Jimbo, I should say, ended up playing at Penn State on a full scholarship, football scholarship. Now, when he was a freshman, somebody took his knee out in some scrimmage, so that was it. Back then, when you had a anterior cruciate ligament injury, they used like rubber bands and super glue to put him back. No one really ever got better from those, and I always felt bad that Jimbo didn't have a chance to realize his full potential, because I believe he would have played there and done real well. So, I just want to note that my teammates and I hope that the Hall of Fame committee will consider them for Hall of Fame honors. Almost got this here, guys. In baseball, Coach Ray Copperwatts led us to a mid-state conference championship and state regional game. A guy by the name of Scott McHenry pitched a really great game, and we beat South River. We were led by our captain of both the basketball and baseball team, Tom Miller, who's over here sitting with us. And he was voted most likely to succeed in our senior year. He ended up becoming a lawyer and then a judge, and then he turned retirement age, and they told him he has to go home now. So, and he said, but please leave that big chair behind if you don't mind. Tom's a great guy, and I really appreciated his leadership. Okay, just wanted to, again, thank my wife, Patty. That's her over there. My daughter, Abby, the light of our life, And my sister-in-law, Tracy's here, and everybody at the table. It's great to have great teammates and great friends, and that's what makes this whole thing so much fun. And it's just a pleasure to be a part of all of that. My brother Mark couldn't come tonight, but a lot of you people asked me about Mark. He's doing fine. I think Wes remembers him. I think he caught a touchdown pass and an interception in the 72 game. So he did pretty well, and he just wanted to say hi to everybody as well. Let's see, I think I'm almost done, yeah? Okay, so what am I most proud of, thinking back on my high school career? My teammates, coaches, and I helped to create a winning culture at East, and I'm very proud to be a part of that history. Thanks.
The Gary Debs Award is going on eBay for $100. Well, first of all, I want to thank all of the individual inductees, because all of my threats in the emails were heeded, and we are actually 15 minutes ahead of schedule. So what the manor has asked me to do was invite you all outside to grab some dessert and then come back, and we're going to start with our team inductions in 15 minutes. And if any of you had coaches, you know when I say 15 minutes, I mean 14. So go on out and have a good dessert, and then we'll get started with the team inductions. If everybody can find their seats or make their way in from the hallway, I'd like to get this thing started again.
I want you to pick the 50-50 ticket, so hold on one second. Yeah, we're gonna pick it in a minute, so, all right?
All right, folks, if we can take our seats, get the last part of the program going. And also, we want to get your blue tickets out because we're going to draw the 50-50. $493. Thank you for your generosity. $493.
All right. I am ready.
Yeah, doing it now.
If somebody can yell to the people out in the cookie line to come back in, please, so we can do the 50-50 and get the program rolling again. If you're not in the room and you have tickets out there, you cannot win. You must be in the room.
Whistle, I'm not afraid to use it.
Gotta go out there with the whistle.
Okay, folks, get your 50-50 tickets out. The orange tickets. The orange tickets. I knew I'd get somebody. Here we go, folks, for $493. $493. We'll read the last four. Last four. 0, 9, 3. Who's still in it? Who's still in it? 0, 9, 3. Who's still in it? Who's still in it? 3. 0, 9, 3, 3. Silence. There's silence. I heard a yes. I gotta have verification. Oh, don't let Mike read the numbers. He gets them confused. He's probably reading it 3309. No, 689. It's 6890933. Who's got it? Oh. The other Mike Winchuck got it. Guess who's buying at the top of the hill?
That's right. Is that right? Or am I blind? I do have a sight. No, it's amazing. There we go. I love it. All right. Awesome.
All right, folks, we'll get the next part of the program going. How is the evening going so far? All right, I hope you're all enjoying yourself. You got some cookies out there, all right? I baked them myself, so, all right? Enjoy the rest of the evening. Jimmy, take it back over.
It's so funny, all these people calling me Jimmy. Jeff Vanderbeek, Linda Mueller. There are only like 3 people in the world who are allowed to call me Jimmy. Jeff, Linda, and my mother. All right, just a couple housekeeping items. Tonight has been live streamed on our Facebook page all night. We will have a link to that for replay, but we want to thank the gentleman back there for his assistance tonight. This was something that a lot of people outside of this room who couldn't make it wanted to be a part of, so it's nice. And then also to have a permanent record of it on video down the road. That'll be great. If you would, in the program, I know there's a couple of places where we've listed our website. The way the nomination process works is you have to nominate. You can't just come up here and say, hey, Bob Smith should be in the Hall of Fame. That doesn't help us. There is a process, and the nomination page is on our website. Give us as much information about the nominee as you have, preferably with a phone number or email address. We'll do the rest of the work. There were some names floated out here tonight, like Jim Barry, Randy Sinclair, and I think they are deserving, but we have to have them as nominees. If they're not nominated, we're not even considering them, and we're doing our research. We're not the nominators, we're just the selectors. That's up to you guys. Also in your program, you'll see a bio on me on one of the pages. At the end of that is my email address, and what I'd really appreciate from you is if you can tell us, did we do a good job? Did we blow it? Is there anything we can do to make this evening better for next year's induction class? So please, if you think of something on how we can do things better, either as an inductee or as a spectator, please let me know. Our next inductee we're doing at the same time, and that's the 1970 and 1971 BRHS East football teams. So if those members can come on up, come on in. You can just stand over here and we'll get to you. Anybody else from 70 or 71, feel free to join us. Under the direction of BRHOF Class of 2020 inductee, head coach George Griner, the Minutemen of East continued their winning ways as part of the 34-game winning streak. The 1970 BRHS East football team ended the season undefeated with a record of 9-0. 11 players from the East 1970 football team were on the all-county team, including Rob Apgar, Steve Havren, who's here tonight, Bruce Hennemuth, Mike DeTalvo, Jim Jansen, Tim Dostal, Jim Barry, Paul Grimes, Dave Wessel, Tom Zialko, and Don McQueen. Ladies and gentlemen, the 1970 BRHS East football team. For the 1971 BRHS East football team, head coach George Griner continued to produce winning teams in 71 with another undefeated team. The Minutemen of East continued their dominance of the Mid-State Conference as part of the 34-game winning streak. The 1971 BRHS East football team ended the season undefeated with a record of 9-0. 10 players from that team were on the all-county team, including Jeff Miller, Tim Dostal, Mark Debs, Jeff Feisenmeyer, Dan LaMontagne, who is with us, Mark Marchuk, Don Jenkins, Don McQueen, and Dave Wessel. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 Hall of Fame inductees, the members of the 1970 and 71 BRHS East football teams.
Well, thank you very much, Steve Havren. I heard one word that resonated tonight all the time: teamwork, family. So important. When I grew up as a kid, that's what it was all about. We grew up. This guy was my hero. He was a couple years older than me, but I didn't know Joe Namath. I knew Steve Havren. It was amazing, and not only that, his father coached Pop Warner football in Somerville. His father taught me how to throw a football. That's what family's about. That's what this community is about. And this East and West thing is beautiful. And let me tell you, my brothers from West, you made us better. You're so good. We lived for one game. Thanksgiving. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you.
We talk a lot about Bridgewater-Raritan High School athletic pride, and there is one member from the 1970 and 71 East football teams that carries on that tradition of pride. He's a good friend of mine and a neighbor that couldn't join us tonight. I invited him several months ago and then talked to him this week, but he just couldn't make it, and that is Doug Bateman. The unique thing about Doug, in addition to playing football, was that he was on the 1980 U.S. Olympic team for two-man luge, placing 12th with his cousin, Raymond. So I did want to mention Doug because it shows the level of athletic capability that our players have, not just in their chosen sport, but even outside of which. So I did want to mention Doug as well. So thank you for acknowledging him. The next team I'm going to introduce is a team that I had a lot of fun announcing with because it was a small core group of like 9 girls, but boy, what talent that you saw on the floor every night in every basketball game, and that is the 1989-1990 BRHS West girls basketball team. Led by head coach Tony Maglione and assistant coaches Art Rickstad and Art Goldsworthy and Jim Grill, this team put together a season for the ages with a final record of 22-6 on their way to winning the Central Jersey Group 3 Sectional Championship in a thrilling double overtime victory over Ewing. They also won the Golden Falcon Christmas Tournament. Team members included Kristen Cole, Sajal Chokshi, Gail Hora, Janet Ross, Kelly Zimborski, Kristen Clement, Donna Connolly, Karen Connolly, Mildred Miller, and Carrie Wilgus. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the members of the 1989-1990 BRHS West girls basketball team and 2022 Hall of Fame inductees.
We only played with 4, the other team had 5. Before I start, I'd like to thank Carl Wigner for giving me the opportunity to come to Bridgewater. I came from Watchung Hills to be a basketball coach and a football coach. Basketball I learned on the way. I was lucky we had some great assistants, Art Rickstead and Art Goldsworthy. They were really the basketball guys. It is an honor to be here, but the starting point of all great achievements is desire. Desire, a strong feeling of wanting something. The burning desire to be the best and making everyone around you feel the same way. It was truly a team effort. There was no superstar. They were all talented. They loved being with each other, and they had fun doing it. I would like to say something about each one that is here. Janet Ross, our center. Janet was very shy, did not want anything to do to play basketball. What I did to try to recruit her would probably be considered bullying today. But we finally recruited her, and she became a very good player. And one of the reasons she became a good player is because Carrie Wilgus, our other center, would beat up on her every day in practice. So they sort of made each other better, very competitive, and it was a lot of fun. Dr. Gail Hora, probably the type of player that every coach would like, being in the right place at the right time, always. Getting that rebound that nobody expected her to get, getting the points at a time when it was crucial. And that's the way she played at all times. And then finally, our best all-around player, probably the best athlete that we've had at that time, was able to play every position, handle the ball, and had a mother that was always on my back. And she's here tonight. So needless to say, it was a great year. All of them had a desire to win, a desire to improve every day, and I was lucky enough to be part of it. Thank you very much.
I want to clarify something that Dan LaMontagne said earlier. He said that West made East better. And we took that job very seriously. You know, we didn't win many games, but if we always said in the locker room, if we can just make East better, we've done our job. Sometimes I crack myself up. Next up, we have the 1973-74 BRHS East gymnastics team. Before I get into their bio read, I want to share a story with you that I think is unique in sports. I've never heard anything like it before, but I did get to verify it today looking at newspapers.com. There was one meet for East against Ocean, and there was a little bit of a communication error. Ocean had their gym ready to go with judges. East had their gym ready to go with judges for this meet. The only thing they didn't do was go to one of the other schools. So you had East in their gym, Ocean in their gym. They called each other up and said, and keep in mind this is probably with a rotary phone, they called each other up and said, "Where are you?" They said, "Well, we're here. Where are you?" And they said, "Well, we're here." So they said, "Well, we've got the athletes, we've got the judges. Why don't we just have our girls compete and we will call you with our results?" And then East would call Ocean with their results. They went ahead with the competition, and I'm very proud to say that East won that meet by telephone. Pioneering the internet for decades before. The 1973 and 74 BRHS East gymnastics teams dominated gymnastics competition in New Jersey shortly after the passage of the landmark Title IX legislation. Under the direction of Coach Kathleen Fegley, they were undefeated for each of their first 5 years of competition, at one point recording 35 straight wins. Led by BRHOF 2020 inductee Kathy Schreier, these teams simply could not be beat. Team members included Janet Roleff, Becky Ruff, Barbara Schaefer, Kathy Schreier, Debbie Thompson, Lisa Corbobo, Kathleen Casaro, Sue Supovitz, Chris Calderero, Maureen Igani, Gloria Montesio, Linda Montesio, Nancy Catalano. Chris Tanzi and Patty Trippanera served as their student assistants. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the 2022 Hall of Fame inductees, the members of the 1973 and 74 BRHS East gymnastics teams.
Well, I want to thank everyone for this opportunity. Thanks, Carl, for reaching out to me. I was surprised one day when he walked up to my door and after whatever years, numerous years, greeted me. Thanks to my family who is here to support me, and also thanks to Dick and to Jim for their endless communications. We really knew what to expect today, so that was great. We started the women's gymnastics team back in 1968. And in the beginning, we weren't even recognized as a varsity team. We didn't even have a gym. And I had great mentors with Gwen Gano over here and Joe Picaro. They were just absolutely very supportive. In my initial start of teaching, they were always there, always mentoring and giving suggestions. I was also very fortunate to have these lovely ladies behind us. They really influenced my life in the beginning. I was starting out and just gaining confidence, and they were always supportive, always smiling, a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work all the time. It was just amazing. So I really thank all of you for being part of that team. When we started, we didn't even have a gym. We would practice in the hallways. We would practice at lunchtime. They would give up their lunchtime and after school to come and practice. finally I think Joe Picaro got tired of us setting off the fire alarm because they would go on the balance beam, and every time they did a pirouette, they'd set off the fire alarm at lunchtime. So after that, he built us a gym, and we had to share it with the wrestlers, but it was a great experience, and we had 5 successful years of really being undefeated when we did that. They're just amazing athletes. They worked really hard. I moved on to coach a club team, and we actually named it the Bridgettes, which was after Bridgewater, our start and our origin. So it really means a lot to be part of this award. It's a great honor. I'm blessed to have a wonderful family. It's over in the corner. These wonderful girls that we've reunited after all these years. And the stories that we're telling each other is just amazing. So it's really been a wonderful experience. And I think as teachers and as coaches, you never realize how many lives you touch. But I think we have an awesome responsibility with the people that we coach and that we teach day to day. I've heard so many stories in these last 2 days of lives that have been touched by all of you out there, all of the inductees, and it really is something that I think we can touch young minds and hearts very much during these experiences, and we have to take that very seriously. So thank you to everyone for inducting all of us into the Hall of Fame. We are so honored to be in the halls forever in Bridgewater. So the plaques are really beautiful. So thank you, and thank you.
Next, we're going to induct the 1987-88 and 1988-89 BRHS West boys basketball teams. The 1987-88 BRHS West boys basketball team became the second of 3 back-to-back-to-back state championship teams in a row. Coached by head coach Vaughn Stapleton and assistants Tim Ortelli and Bob Fisher, this team would go on to win the NJ Group 3 state championship, the Central Jersey Group 3 championship, the Somerset County Tournament, the Mid-State Conference Championship, and the Golden Falcon Christmas Classic, en route to a 29-1 record. The team consisted of Paul Papaduke, Russell Murdoch, David Miller, Carl Alberson, Eric Rieger, John Fidicaro, Mike Lynch, Tyson Murdoch, Nick Niles, Josh Strube, Lance Miller, Chris Iorio, Mike Stashalitis, Dan Engelhart, and Mike Hodorowski. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome 2022 Hall of Fame inductees, the members of the 87-88 BRHS West boys basketball team. A lot of these guys look like they could still play. We're also going to induct the 1988-89 BRHS West boys basketball team. The 88-89 West boys basketball team became the third of 3 back-to-back state championship teams. Coached by, again, head coach Vaughn Stapleton and assistants Tim Ortelli and Bob Fisher, this team would go on to win the New Jersey Group 2 state championship, the Central Jersey Group 2 championship, the Somerset County Tournament, the Mid-State Conference Championship, and the Golden Falcon Christmas Classic, en route to a final regular season record of 28-0. The team was defeated in the first round of the first Tournament of Champions. The team consisted of Jay Hobbs, John Fidicaro, Tyson Murdoch, Mike Stashalitis, Dan Engelhart, Mike Hodorowski, Chris Iorio, Scott Shaw, Steve Russell, Lance Miller, Josh Strube, and Nick Niles. Ladies and gentlemen, the members of the 1988 and 89 BRHS West boys basketball team and 2022 Hall of Fame inductees.
Thank you. I worked alongside Vaughn during that tenure, and obviously it was a great time. I want to recognize Bob Fisher. Bob, please stand up. Bob was our freshman coach. And anyone that knows anything about high school athletics, and Bob was a master of this, the goal of the freshman coach was to teach the young people and have them have enough fun and passion that they wanted to come out the following year and continue to play basketball. And Bob did a wonderful job of that, and was a big part of the success of the varsity as they matured through the years. Also, Mike Carlin was one of the assistants on the staff. And I want to recognize Mike as well. Quickly, I'd like to say about 5 minutes about each player here. No, just kidding. But real quickly, it was a wonderful era, unprecedented in basketball where the inner city teams dominate the game. I've been asked many times about what it took. I know this might be hard for you to believe, but talent. Before I get started, I also want to recognize, of course, Jerry Stapleton, who's sitting in the back. All the stories we could tell, right, Jerry? But anyway, yeah, you're not winning without talent. And these weren't just guys that like to play a little bit of basketball. They were basketball players. And there's a big difference. And it all came to fruition. The 1988 team, quickly, the great rematch with Shabazz High School down at St. Peter's College. I remember getting to the high school, and not only did we have obviously the team bus, there were like 12 or 13 yellow buses. And Carl and the support staff organized student body travel to the game. And it was like Hoosiers, New Jersey style. We didn't take the back roads, we took the turnpike. Andy, is Andy Martin still here? Andy was our greeter down at Jersey City. He showed us all around, and things worked out obviously with the rematch with Shabazz in an epic game on 1988. Then 1989, the two things that stood out for me were our state semifinal game. We were 28-0 that season, and as Jim mentioned, played in the first Tournament of Champions. But in our state semifinal game, we played down at Toms River High School against Pennsgrove. And this is a team award, but in my 38 years of coaching basketball, I've never seen an individual performance like Lance Miller. He only had 52 points and 26 rebounds. But that wasn't the most impressive stat. In the last 43 seconds, he was fouled and made 10 out of 10 free throws in a game where I believe we won by 1 or 2 points. So, but everybody else stepped up to the plate. 2 nights later, we went down to Rider College, played a Roselle High School team that had won 9 out of 9 state championships throughout their history of Roselle Abraham Clark High School. And another nail biter, but these guys once again prevailed. Extremely coachable talent. There's a saying, you may or may not heard it before. You can have a bad plan, maybe a bad practice, a bad day with good people, and eventually you'll figure it out. You can also have a good plan, great plan with bad people, and inevitably it's going to end badly. These were great guys. They came to practice every day. They were extremely coachable. We got better every day. Vaughn did a great job of communicating with the kids. If you ever saw the end of our practice when they played for our Snickers bar, and I mean would dive under the bleacher for the Diet Coke, Snickers bar, and leave the gym. And I took this with me as I started my coaching career. Always, most days if possible, have the players leave practice happy. Vaughn was a master of that. Great players. If you think about the accomplishments, unprecedented. I believe they were 57-2, 1988-89, accomplished everything that could be accomplished. Great memories, great guys. It's a great time. Great to see everybody again. And as someone who coached at Bridgewater for a long time myself, it's great to see so many familiar faces. Congratulations to everybody that got in. Well deserved. And looking forward to doing it again next year. Thank you very much.
kudos to Vaughn Stapleton. I mentioned in my comments, Vaughn was inducted last year in our inaugural class of coaches, and just a wonderful human being. And to this day, I still miss him and our talks. And I remember when Coach mentioned the Snickers bars, and they would do suicide sprints and stuff like that. I was sitting in the bleachers with him one day, and he goes, "Look at how hard they're working for a candy bar." And he goes, "They don't realize I'm doing this to get them in better shape and better conditioning. They're just going for the Snickers bar." So it was all good. Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I have had a great time here tonight. What great memories of our athletes, teams, and coaches that have been inducted here tonight. And remember, please visit our website if you think that somebody is deserving of induction so that we can get them on the ballot for next year. Congratulations to all of our inductees, and be sure again to visit our Facebook page in a couple of days for pictures of tonight's event and the live stream. And you can visit our website at BR Athletic HOF to nominate someone you think is deserving of being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Nominations are open year-round, and we will begin selecting our next class in early 2023. Now, earlier this evening, I recounted how we used to say that East is East and West is West. And tonight, it's safe to say that all of our inductees are the best. Since the merger of East and West 31 years ago, we have a new saying. Someone will yell, "We are," and the crowd will respond, "BR." So let's try it now. We are. We are. We are. We are. We are. We are. Good night, everybody. Before you go, I want to introduce Dick Myers for some closing comments.
Thank you, Jimmy. I hope everybody, and I will be the fourth person that gets to call you Jimmy, so it's just the way it is. I hope everybody enjoyed themselves. And again, folks, you don't understand what it takes to put this together. All right? For the last 2.5, 3 weeks, Jimmy and I would get emails from everybody. "Oh, I got to change my table. I got to do this. I got to do that. They ain't coming. They're coming, but we can have our cousin who's third removed from the second uncle to the third aunt." It takes time. It takes a lot of soul searching, headaches sometimes. Jimmy was wondering why I was so panicked about having to rearrange some things, and then 3 days later he calls me and says, "Oh, dude, by the way, the company we do the tickets through owes us a lot of money." So I was like, "Oh my God, thank you." So we didn't have to cut out more things. So again, please, you're here tonight, you've been honored, okay? Think about that. Think about what you're going home with tonight from this community. This is Bridgewater. I came from a small community in Middlesex. When we told people we get it done, we get it done. And we got it done. We're getting it done. We're going to continue to get it done for you. So when you can, participate in the fundraising things that we do. We really only do one fundraiser. That's our golf outing. Some of you have participated in it, and you can talk to them. You can talk to Steve. You can talk to Andy, a few others. That golf outing is our main fundraiser. It's going to be conducted in early May. We do it at Herring Glen, and it is a great, great day. Great, great day for people to come together and enjoy a day. And then the money out of that pays for these plaques, pays for the things you guys are getting, the ones that are hung in the school. So come help, come be part of it. If you'd like to become a committee member, please come and join us. All right, we need the help. We're down to maybe 8, 10 of us right now, and it's a lot of work that goes into it. Believe me when I tell you, it's a lot of work that goes into it. So please come aboard if you'd like to help us. All right, and support it. Support it, because it's only going to get better. Thank you. Enjoy your evening. Get home. Be safe. God bless.